My name is David, and I am an Instagram guitar player.
Hi, Dave.
I mean, that's relative because, there's always that bit of imposter syndrome of like, do I really get to call myself that? But, I have a decent enough following. I've got hundreds of students from Instagram and TikTok and even a couple from Facebook. I work with big brands like EMG and Legator and work with brands like Blackstar. I don't know. I think it's fair to say I'm an Instagram guitar player. And lately, I've seen all this anger and outcry about fake guitar players. Now, as somebody whose whole thing is playing crazy stuff on Instagram, and again, there's that imposter syndrome where I don't like saying that, but stuff like this. Seeing fake guitar players has always really frustrated me because I've worked really hard to develop my chops, and it is really disheartening to see somebody who fakes their guitar playing and has way more followers than me and has a huge Patreon page and sells tab packs and probably has like hundreds of students, and me, who can actually do all of that crazy stuff, not have nearly that level of success. However, I do feel the way this whole outcry is being presented is kind of bizarre. And I want to address a few important points from the perspective of somebody who actually does play that kind of crazy stuff and somebody whose income and livelihood does rely on Instagram as an Instagram guitar player. So here is the problem I have with fake guitar players on Instagram in one brief rundown. When you are somebody scrolling through Instagram, just a regular person, and you see somebody play something absolutely insane, and I'll use a couple examples of people that I really respect that don't fake their playing. Someone like Odysseus. Or someone like Backsteed. Playing things that are just absolutely incredible. I can say from my perspective, and what I would assume is a pretty universal perspective, I'm not necessarily touched by the composition. Although sometimes they make some really interesting music, I'm much more enamored by the performance, by the spectacle. That is somebody playing something that incredibly inhuman, that godly. And as another guy who plays guitar at a fairly high level, it's incredibly inspiring. I love it. It makes me so excited. I get like this big feeling in my stomach, like, yeah, that's cool. Let's go practice. And usually I go practice. Now, the problem, of course, is that when people fake that, right, they hide behind the shield of, well, it's music, and music is not a competition, so I can present whatever I would like. But that's not really true, is it? You're not following these players because you love their music, although of course there are plenty of musicians where that's the case. You're following them because you're seeing a presentation, you're seeing a spectacle, and you believe the authenticity of that spectacle. You believe, for example, again using two great players, when I see Backsteed play the stuff he plays, I know that he can actually do that. And I'm blown away by watching what he's doing. Now, there are some times where I find his compositions to be quite interesting and unique, but I don't seek that out on Spotify. It's not the kind of thing I really listen to, but at the same time, it can be quite interesting. But when people follow that guy, they're not doing so necessarily because they love his music. They're doing so because they believe somebody essentially is performing these athletics, these maneuvers that are incredible. They're mind-boggling. They're just, what the heck, right? And so when somebody fakes this, they are simply lying, and they're gaining a giant following based on lies. My perspective might be a bit skewed, as I also do online guitar playing. I do Instagram, TikTok, whatever, right? So my perspective may be a bit skewed, but I would think any reasonable person would see that and think, man, that seems unfair. And there are players out there that straight up guitar pro their stuff, or they'll mime over all their stuff, and they have their reasons, like, oh, music's not a sport, I can do what I want, right? Or it's not a competition, I can do what I want. Fair enough, and it's true that it's not competition. There's no first place, there's no scoreboard. At the same time, what you are presenting is what people think is a live performance, and it's not. You are faking, you are pretending, and you can use any excuse you like. I mean, it's perfectly valid to say, well, it's a compositional thing, I'm just writing music, but you're not. It's not why people are following you. It's a bit of a cop-out, in my opinion. You're kidding yourself and everyone around you when you pretend that they're following you because of your compositional prowess. They're not. That's not why they're following you. They're following you because you're a guitar athlete, you're a freak, you're a spectacle, you are a virtuoso, and they want to see your talent in terms of technical prowess on the instrument. That's about it. So when you fake that, you are lying, and it's kind of some bullshit. It's kind of some bullshit. Now, on the other hand of this, we have players that I see being attacked that just boggle my mind, and I don't understand why they're being attacked. For example, buried alive, Charles Caswell. Like, I don't know why anyone's attacking Charles Caswell from Buried Alive. Obviously, he's editing everything he does. Obviously, because guitars don't sound like that. He's not lying about this. When you hear guitars make crazy whew sounds with like weird, like it doesn't even sound like a guitar. I mean, you'd have to be super stupid to think that that's real organic out of a tube amp guitar playing. It's not. It's not being advertised as such. And I have no doubt that guy can play 90% of what he plays. Now, he absolutely is miming over those videos. Absolutely. I mean, he has plenty of videos where he doesn't mime. I mean, he has some camera audio video, but for all his big videos, his big studio videos, yeah, of course, that's all mimed over. By the way, as are mine. I just released a single, I think 2 or 3 days ago, where I had a playthrough video on YouTube, and because I want the video quality to be super high res and don't want to worry about all the takes being perfect and the audio quality to be super high res, I mimed that playthrough video. However, there's also several videos of myself playing it on my Instagram page with raw camera audio. So it's not because I can't play it, it's because it's just easier and better to keep the production quality high when I mime over that video. Now, that's a whole thing. There's a whole nother topic that can branch off. Like, do I think that's always okay? No, I don't. I don't think when everyone, like, there are people that mime everything they do on Instagram. That's so annoying. Like, it's so annoying. Because, you know, when I'm sitting here, for example, with my skill set, I can create a really crazy solo that I probably could not physically play right in front of you right now. I mess it up. But I could do it line by line. But I digress. Something like Buried Alive, they're pushing the boundaries of guitar. They're creating genres, they're doing something different, and that, I think, needs to be celebrated, not, you know, demeaned by all guitar players. Very silly. Not what you should be doing. Another example of that is Davin Glover. He's essentially like a little Buried Alive, like mini, like diet Buried Alive. He's a very talented little kid. I think he's like 18 or 19 years old. He has a very interesting style of playing, and you know, like Buried Alive, he edits the crap out of his playing. It doesn't even sound like a guitar half the time. It sounds like a synth. You know, he does that very intentionally. However, I guarantee you he can play that stuff in front of you because it's not that crazy. It really is not that crazy. Like the stuff that he does compared to Buried Alive, I don't find to be nearly as crazy. It's just interesting. It's different. It's a different way to play. And then you put it through all these filters with all these cuts and these splices. It's a very interesting product that he's presenting you. And those two guys are presenting you a composition that they probably can pretty respectfully play, pretty darn close, right? As music, and they want you to follow their music. And that to me is not the same thing as somebody, again, like a me or like a Backsteed or someone like that who just shred really hard in front of a camera and you only follow us because our shreds, right? That's kind of what we do. Like those two guys, they aren't that, but there are people out there who are that, right? And I'm not gonna name too many guys because you can never be sure. You can never be 100% sure. It's a really confusing time to be in the industry, but I'm very confident that someone named Michael Guerrero, I don't know if I can even show the screen because he blocked me on Instagram a while ago because I just made me so mad. But Michael Guerrero is somebody who clearly is faking 90% of his playing. It's all Guitar Pro or sped up guitar. It just doesn't sound real at all. His fingers don't line up very well. It's so fake. And he's selling tab packs. He has a huge Patreon page. It's so frustrating. And he's an example of someone that really should be came after. People should call him out and be like, yo, post some real audio, like post a camera like this right here of you doing your hardest stuff, or you are fake. But no one's doing that because he's kind of slides underneath, like no one's watching him. He's not big enough. It's just everything he does is so unremarkable because he has very little compositional prowess as well that no one's really watching or paying attention to him. But I mean, he was in a Levi Clay video a while ago, and it was a pretty good video. In fact, that whole video was actually very well said. Another guy is that XX King of Shred guy, and there's enough videos on that guy to even, you know, why would I bring him up? But he fakes his stuff, clearly fakes his stuff, and I'm very confident that guy's faking because his fingers don't line up. His fingers don't line up, and he's not miming. He's is using raw camera audio. And so it's one thing if somebody has a line in tone and their fingers don't match, like it's like, oh, they're miming, but they missed that one spot, but everything else looks pretty good. You know, I tend to give that a bit of a pass because I've done that before when I do like high level videos. But at the same time, there's the other side of me where I present a lot of guitar content that's raw audio, and I think it's super lame when someone's entire page is like line in audio where the fingers are just a little misaligned. You know, that's kind of sucks too. It kind of sucks too. But anyway, the whole point of making this video is to clear some things up from my perspective, right? I find it very odd that some of these people are getting mad about this, but it's not really affecting them. This stuff affects me. Like when these players come out and they do stuff that I can't do because no one can do that, and they're faking all of it, it's frustrating as someone who relies on Instagram as for, you know, students, for Patreon, for everything, right? It's a big part of my livelihood. So when these players come out and they fake everything and they raise the bar, it's raising and raising, but you know it's all faked. It's like, bro, like, dude, like that party foul, not cool, man. You're making, you know, it's a Nate Diaz thing.
Fuck that, Conor McGregor, you're taking everything I work for, motherfucker.
But, you know, what can I do? What can you do about this? You know, nothing. You know, you can yell at a camera on YouTube all day. This is guitar now. This is the state of guitar now. As you can see, I get real mad about this stuff. I get real passionate about it. So let's take it down a little bit. Let's take it back to reality. The whole point of this video is, when you are going after fake guitar players, use a better eye and be discerning about who you go after and why you're going after them specifically. Okay, if you see somebody who is trying to change music and make a new genre and they're clearly editing because those sounds don't exist otherwise, why are you going after that guy? What's the point? Like, duh, no way. You're telling me that Buried Live edits his playing? No way. Whoa. Well, I can't support that guy. Like, what's wrong with you? But when you see somebody who is shredding organically through an amp or a like line in tone with a regular guitar tone, and they're clearly like doing one of these, you know, as Instagram players tend to do, and it's clearly all mimed and all faked, and it's every single video, every single time, which is a lot of people, maybe go after that guy instead. That's all I'm saying. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a weird video, and I hope I didn't say anything too crazy because I kind of just blacked out in the middle of it and started rambling. This will be an interesting one to edit. My new single just came out a couple days ago called The Calamity. It's all real. I can play it. I'll play it right now for you. No, I won't, but I could. I could do that. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.